Hi everyone, it's Nicole for STAMPtember at Simon Says Stamp, and today I have a couple of sliding window cards featuring the Heffy Doodle collaboration. This is an exclusive limited edition stamp and die combination called More Than S'mores. So super cute. 3 cute critters, lots of fun images, and then of course some greetings. I'm using the stamps today with a Sunny Studio sliding window die to create an interactive sliding window card. Let's start by building our background. I've got a piece of A2 sized paper bag cardstock. This is a color from Fawn, and I have put the cardstock in my MISTI. I am using the Simon Says Stamp Gingham background stamp, and this one's going to have a tone-on-tone background. I love creating my own background, and I think this is going to add a lot of interest to the border of the front panel of this card. I am inking this up with KHAKI Simon Says Stamp ink, and the MISTI makes it great that I can stamp this more than once, especially with a background stamp. In the event that I don't get it all stamped perfectly the first time, this makes sure that I get the background covered. This is going to provide a really fun plaid gingham background. Then we're going to take the sliding window die, and with the 2 double bars down near the bottom of the slider, we're going to position this right in the center, and I'm also going to die cut the notch from the sliding window die collection. There's also a couple of labels, or a label, a tag, a couple of tags, a hole reinforcement, lots of things you can use here. I'm using the sliding window and the notch. So the notch goes at the top, the part with the 2 bars goes at the bottom. Then we're simply going to run this through the die cutting machine and remove our dies. At the top, there's a scored line. We want to bend that back. Then we're going to bend it forward where there's a score line here. And then at the very bottom, there's another one where those 2 double bars were on the die. Then we're going to flip this over and put a piece of 1/8 inch score tape on the back along just that tiny little piece there that we just scored. Remove the score tape and then pop a panel in place. This panel measures 3 1/4 by 5 inches. And this is going to be the part that actually slides. So when I place this on my card base and you pull that little piece that sticks up and out, it moves. It is so clever, so cute, and just an incredible way to create an interactive card. I'm going to decorate that bottom little piece that's scored with a piece of soft navy cardstock. I adhered it with 1/8 inch score tape as well. And part of the reason is I'm not using dies for this card. So I created a panel that's going to replace the center panel of this design and pop up when you pull the slider. This is trimmed from smooth white cardstock that measures 3 by 4 inches. And we're just going to decorate the top and bottom to add a little bit of interest to this. Now, I think it's easiest if you adhere the sliding window panel to your card base or to a background. If you're not attaching it to a card base and this is actually going to be the card, and when you slide it up, you'll have a sentiment inside. Either way, I think it slides better if you attach it with foam adhesive. A tiny bit of dimension makes the sliding mechanism work so well. You can also use just regular adhesive, but you want to make sure that it's not right next to the sliding track. That gives it a little room to move, and it works a lot easier. From Heffy Doodle, there is an Interactively Yours stamp set, and this stamp set has loads of great sentiments and images, perfect for interactive cards. If you love making interactive cards, this is an awesome, awesome stamp set. We're going to stamp the Pull Me sentiment from this stamp set at the top of each card. So I stamped that with soft navy ink up at the top. That lets the recipient of the card know that this is an interactive card, and if you pull that slider, something is going to happen. So I think that's super cute and clever. I love that. There's a couple of different pull here. There's pull me, pull here. I mean, depending on what kind of card you have, there's lift me, I light up, I move, so many things, all the things. This is an awesome, awesome stamp set. Then I'm going to attach the other thin 1/4 inch by 3 inch strip to the top of my 3x4 panel. This is where the magic's going to happen, where we are using that new Heffy Doodle STAMPtember More Than S'mores stamp set. So for my first sample here, I am going to use the raccoon and squirrel. I'm also going to use the coffee cup and the coffee mug. And we're going to use sentiments to write out our greeting that's going to read, I love you even more than pumpkin spice lattes. Perfect for fall. Imagine giving this as a gift to someone, maybe birthday, just because, doesn't matter. Maybe you go over for dinner or something and you want to take something. I think this would be super cute. All you do is you tuck a little gift card inside the sliding mechanism, and you've got a really beautiful card as well as a gift. So I love that. I am using the Misty so I get my images and greetings stamped perfectly. I'm stamping them with Hero Arts Intense Black ink. This is a great ink for Copic coloring. I'm going to be coloring everything on my card with Copic markers today. I'm just going to flip my panel around to stamp the other critter. The tip of the tail hangs off of the edge just a little bit, and so I needed to flip that so I had room. Once I have my critters, I want them to be holding something. So I've got my coffee mug and my coffee cup, my to-go travel cup, and I'm going to stamp those so it appears they're holding them in their hands. Then going to just kind of clean everything up. Let's grab our panel. This is kind of what it's going to look like. It's going to just sit there, and when you pull it up, it's going to be attached only on the bottom, and it's going to work really super cute. I love this die collection. It's so much fun. Really quick before I color, I realized from that Interactively Yours stamp set, I wanted to use one more greeting. And I want to stamp it along the bottom edge here of this panel. And I want to use the phrase, I'm an interactive card. I think this is a brilliant greeting, and I love it for letting your recipient know that this card does something. So not only do we have the pull me, letting your recipient know that that's where they grab onto to pull the card so that it does something, but it's just says down at the bottom, I'm an interactive card. I love the tiny type. I think that this is just super, super fun. I am doing the exact same design for both cards and using these sentiments because I think it's just so cute. I love it. I'm sprinkling on white embossing powder. This was stamped with clear embossing ink. Because this is dark cardstock along the borders here on both cards. One is soft navy, the other is black. The white embossing powder is going to show up really well, but still not take away from the overall design of the card. I would really recommend probably doing this step before you adhere that strip or the panel to your card. I didn't think of it in time, so I went ahead and did it now. But when I do my second card, I will stamp that before I do that because I'm always worried about embossing powder getting stuck in adhesive and having little specks of it anywhere. So I always try to adhere or emboss before I actually adhere anything to my card. We are ready to do the coloring of these cute Heffy Doodle More Than S'mores images. I am coloring in the squirrel first with E00, 11, 13, 18, and 39 with R20 for the cheeks. The darker colors are going to be concentrated on the majority of the squirrel, with the lighter colors on the face and the tummy. And I'll just work and work to kind of get a nice seamless blend and get everything looking the way I want it to look. I really like these colors for squirrels. These are kind of my go-to colors, and it seems like there's been a lot of really cute squirrel images lately, so that's really fun. Look at those little guys come to life, or this little guy come to life. Very, very cute. What I love about Copic markers is you can go over the image as many times as you need to. Maybe you don't get the blend right the first time. No worries, you can just go over it and over it and over it, and it's never going to tear the paper, which I just love. Adding a little dot detail, give these guys a little bit of texture. And then we'll move on to the coffee cup. Little red for the inside of the mouth and for the heart on the coffee cup. Some cool grays for the lid and some yellow reds for the coffee cup itself. And then for the band around the coffee cup, E43 and E44. And then we can move on to the raccoon. We're going to use some warm grays for the raccoon. Lots of warm grays. Warm gray 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9. 9 is going to be used sparingly. It is almost black, and it covers up pretty much anything. I like to start on the side of lighter to darker when doing images like this. I'm never quite sure where I want to go until I get there. The eyes are going to, you're going to lose a little bit of that definition of the eyes with the coloring. And like I always do, I will go over this with a black glaze pen when I'm done and color those eyes back in so that they still pop even out of a dark face. These are so cute. Now with so many neutral colors with the critters, with the background of the card, I needed some pops of color. So the coffee cups are definitely a little bit colorful. There's the little red hearts on the coffee cups. I love pulling in a little bit of red here and there on a card, even if there's not red elsewhere. But the letters that say I love you, this is going to be a great opportunity to color these in and add a pop of color to the design. The coffee cup as well will be colored in blue shades, so that's a nice little bit of color too. I am going to use reds, blues, and yellow reds for the sentiment. We'll go ahead and color that coffee cup first with B34 and 37. And then we're going to go ahead and use those same two colors for the word you in the sentiment up above. Going all over with the light color, and then the dark color will be concentrated down at the bottom. Kind of an ombre effect. We're going to use the red markers for the word love. That definitely was by design. I wanted that word to be in red. Again, concentrating, going all over with R35, up from the bottom with R37, R39 to get that nice ombre effect. And then for the letter I, we're going to use yellow, red 31, 24, and 27. This is a nice yellow orange, the same colors we used for the to-go travel mug. There's the black glaze pen for the eyes, and I ended up going over the nose too because I wanted it to pop a little more. Let's ground the images by just drawing in a little shadowing here with some Copic markers, E40, 43, and 44. Then we're going to put adhesive on the bottom part of the slide up only, pop our panel in place, and when you pull that up, this just pops right up and you still see the entire front panel. So clever, so cute. I can tell you guys already that I can see myself making tons of these. Fantastic for gift giving at the holiday time if you're giving gift cards. So fun and very easy to create. I'm taking a white pen, adding some pen detail to my card. I just can't stop doing the little pull me thing because I think it's so cute. Now on the inside of the card, let's take our soft navy ink that we used for the pull me sentiment, and let's stamp another phrase from that More Than S'mores stamp set that says "That's a lot." So the full sentiment is going to be "I love you even more than pumpkin spice lattes, and that's a lot." The second card is created very much like the first card. I stamped the front panel. This time I wanted that buffalo plaid check, so I stamped some Gina K red velvet cardstock with Simon Says Stamp black dye ink for a two-tone effect instead of a tone-on-tone. We're going to die cut our panel and notch using that Sunny Studio sliding die collection again, just like we did for the first card. And we'll use our Teflon bone folder to make sure we get nice score lines. Really good score lines make the card movement work so much better. I highly recommend just taking a second and using a bone folder to make sure your score lines are all folded really nice. Let's flip this over. Again, let's take a little 1/8 inch score tape and put it on just that little tab at the bottom. Take our 3 1/4 by 5 sliding mechanism and adhere it on the back. And then this time we're going to use black strips, and we're going to put one at the bottom and one at the top. So this one here at the bottom, and then the other one will be attached to the white rectangle. Just like before, we're going to take the phrase "I'm an interactive card," stamp this on, kind of centered on this little band along the bottom. I did look through the others to see if anything really worked well. There's a little gift for you. So this is what I'm saying. At Christmas time, I think it would be fun to put that on your card. You could do especially for you, just for you, open with care. There's just so many fun ones. And then there's some that are in different styles. This one that is horizontal and this tiny type works great for this, but there are other sentiments as well that you could use depending on your card style. So sprinkling on my white embossing powder, we'll heat set this. And then we want to color our second panel. I wanted to use all of the critters from this stamp set. There's 3, and then there's lots and lots of little images you can use in addition to that. And I really thought it would be fun to do the s'mores one and incorporate the s'mores sentiments somewhere. So we're going to use the reindeer for this one. I could see adding some more holiday-ish themed greetings to this if you want to make this even more of a holiday themed card. So there's the other black border that we're going to adhere to the top of our little panel that goes in the center of the card design. This time the sentiment reads, "I love you even s'more than s'mores." I really like that you can mix and match as well. Now there is a pumpkin pie and a slice of pumpkin pie and a pumpkin in this stamp set. I think the I Love You Even More Than Pumpkin Pie would be really, really fun too. I couldn't really decide between which ones I wanted to do, so I just kind of picked a couple, but I could see making lots and lots of cards with this. Just so much fun, you guys. I think it's super clever and just a fantastic addition. Next, we're going to color in our reindeer. He is colored with E55, 57, and 59. E49 is used for his nose. E50 for the tummy as well. That is kind of my lighter color. We're going to work to get a nice kind of blend of colors here. Again, very neutral. All the images I'm coloring are neutral. However, our card base has a nice pop of color with the red, and we're going to make sure we color in our sentiment with reds and even add some little red heart accents to finish this all off. I added red heart accents to the first card as well. These are all created with the Simon Says Stamp Mini Hearts die. I have mentioned this many, many times. This die has been out for several years. It's one of my most used dies. It die cuts 3 different styles of hearts, and each style 3 different sizes, but they're all small. And they are just the perfect accent for cards. I love being able to create my own little heart accents. It's something I use all the time. So this is a very well used, well loved die that I think you definitely get your use out of if you like little accents like this, like I do. In fact, these were all previously die cut. They were left over from other projects. I just save all of my little confetti like this, and so when I need little hearts, I have them, and all I have to do is go and grab them and see what I've got, and I can pop them right on a card. I added some little eyelashes to this reindeer, give it a little bit more of a feminine feel maybe. Went over the eyes with a black pen, added some little white detail to the image just like I did before, and then let's color in our greeting with our 35, 37, and 39. Ombre effect from light to dark, again just like before. And then we want to ground the image so he's not just kind of floating out there by adding a little marker detail with E40, 43, and 44. Same colors I used before. I'm also picking out my little heart accents. Let's go ahead and put the foam tape on the back of this. Again, being sure not to put it right next to the slider track. If you put it right next to the slider track, it tends to stick and it's not going to move freely. So just leave a little bit of space around that slider track and you're going to have much better luck. Adhere this to a white top fold card base. Here I'm just going to add my little line with my dark markers and then blend out with my lightest marker. And that instantly helps with the card design for both cards, I think. Very, very quick and easy. Going to use a little glue tube glue from Lawn Fawn to attach my hearts. 2 down here at the bottom, 1 up at the top. We'll finish with a nice layer of glossy accents over all the hearts on both cards. And just like the first card, we're going to take That's a Lot that's in parentheses from the stamp set, and this time stamp it with LOBSTER Lawn Fawn ink on the inside of the card to finish the design. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these 2 interactive sliding window cards featuring the Heffy Doodle STAMPtember More Than S'mores stamp set. The supplies I use to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more cards featuring Simon Says stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.